is this woman? Like, she claims she's a YouTuber, plant-based. Wow. And, like, is she a certified coach? Does she do continuing education? Has she ever trained a client? Has she ever trained a client in a gym, on a beach setting, something?
Look at the like to dislike.
22,000 dislikes, 1 point. But the sad thing is, she's still getting 22,000 views on that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, okay, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, yeah, you deserve it if you're going to be reading off of your phone, and you can't just give an apology from your heart.
Why are we initially glorifying this woman? Like,
I don't know.
She's got 500,000 followers on Instagram. 3/4 of her pictures of her are her in a bathing suit showing ass. So, is that motivating for women? Is this more like, I'm curious to see how many male to female followers does she have? How many guys are actually on there looking at her because they think she's smoking hot and they're doing little bathroom runs with their phone? I'm sorry to bring this up, but this is really the
because they have to pee really bad.
Yeah, because they have to pee really bad. But she has this thing's gonna knock me out.
Well,
Jesus,
adjust it, dude. You're got muscles. I see them popping through your shirt.
Why are we like what is going on? Like, how many more people are out there doing this? How many more people are on social media and are not credible coaches? I want to know this. I want to know any coach that is claiming they are an influencer in fitness. I want to know how many sessions they've done. I want to know where they've worked. I want to know how many years they've been doing this. I want to know how much continuing education that they have. I want to know how many certifications have they held at one point in their life. Like, do they have I have one certification, that's it. I know it doesn't mean much, but show me where your intentions are. If someone turns to me and they're like, you have gotten over 30 certifications in your life, you do probably 5 courses a year, like for 20 years, 15 years, whatever it is, that shows me that you have good intentions. Right. You're not doing the bare minimum to be able to hold your insurance card to operate a facility.
But let me do the follow up to this, because it kind of puts it in a little bit of perspective, I think. So, to give refunds, to get a refund, she wants people to sign an NDA. So,
what is that about?
It means that she is what I'm talking about. Whatever.
I'm curious to know. In all fairness, I'm curious to know what she sold, how much money and products she sold. Because if I was everyone out there right now, I would get together on a chat group or something on social media. I would say, screw signing the NDA, and I would turn around and I would file a lawsuit.
You'd grab your pitchfork.
Yeah, and then go after. You know, it doesn't sound like a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, and I'm going to tell you why. There has to be quality control in all this.
But why do you ask somebody to sign an NDA? It's because you probably don't want them talking about you at all. So there's got to be something there that you want to keep, secret.
God, you can't. Yeah. You can influence 557,000 people, but you can't talk about you can't read a speech. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm not even making sense right now because I'm so thrown off. You have to read a speech off your phone. She's saying, I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve, but I got to sit here now and I got to read a speech that she's obviously not writing.
Right, but also
she's not that articulate.
When's the last time you gave somebody a training and nutrition plan, but you said, hey, but here's the thing, before I give it to you, sign an NDA? Never. You never had somebody sign that because you back up your work.
No.
Yeah, and but this is the whole problem. Like, we've talked about this. This is an issue, and I don't know how we get to the bottom of it. But we could start today, you and I.
We could start. I mean, there's got to be some quality control put on social media.
Okay, if you do the heavy lifting, I'll be right behind you.
There's got to be some quality control. People, because it's unfortunate that, and this was, I had this conversation with Dr. Charlie Weingroff the other day because he says that the general public should know. And I said, no, they shouldn't, because it's not their job to. A young kid, a 15-year-old, is opening their phone. A young woman who's, my daughter's 11. She's on Instagram now. We block everything and we maintain everything. But my daughter, 11 years old, is going to listen to this wreck. I mean,
I see her right there. There's a picture.
That's my daughter. Beautiful. Thank you. But whatever this girl's name is, what is her name again? I forgot her name.
Brittany Dawn.
Brittany Dawn. The woman's a mess, but she's going to be able to manipulate an 11-year-old girl. So my daughter now is going to start becoming obsessed with her word. She's going to think that she's all genuine because she's 11. And guess what? For Christmas time and for birthdays, we're going to start Brittany Dawn apparel, Brittany Dawn hats.
Hide your credit card because she might be wearing a Brittany Dawn T-shirt.
But the woman's she's a complete fake.
Right.
So you want to make right by it? Refund everybody's money. Fine. Can I understand? Do I understand that in business sometimes things become overwhelming and you get put in a situation that you did not wish you were in, absolutely, that's business. But you do right by it. Okay, so turn around and start, either get people that the product that they purchased or that they thought they were purchasing, or turn around with all the money you probably made over the last, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and start burning that down or make right by it or whatever it is.
But this is what, this is what we've talked about before, and I think we haven't really gotten into this end of it. It's kind of like, how do you differentiate between, commercial, someone who's paid to be a spokesperson in one sense, and somebody who's a legit coach? Or I know we've seen we've talked about red flags. And can I also tell you, there's a hair on your shirt. I want to just grab it. It's just it's really just it's right by your it's been really just I can't help it.
I think it's blonde too. It might be your hair. It's a little scary.
It's just
This is we have to figure out some quality control here. This is just too much.
Right, but again, dude, like this is where it gets real tricky, because we could sit here and rant about it, and we could open the window and scream real loud, but ultimately, how do you enforce that type of stuff? Yeah,
if I ever saw anyone doing a rear foot elevated split squat like this, if it wasn't my gym, I would come over. Like this is flat out offensive. Right, so that's my problem. I don't understand.
But what did you find offensive about it? Because I'm not looking at it. So
first off, her back leg was so far back. She's putting her lower back into extension, and she's putting her hip into such a compromising position that anyone who's going to be doing that is just going to just in time feel like shit. So this is what I'm talking about. You don't have coaches that actually have experience with movements and can sit there and justify why. She's just putting stuff up that she's like, well, this works for myself, and I'm 25 years old, so this isn't a bad thing. And you know what? In 10 years,
dude, I didn't even know you were an impressionist.
I'm pretty good at it.
Like, yeah, who knew you could do voiceover?
That's what she sounded like. It was absolutely annoying. But she's putting up. You know what? She's putting up Starbucks giveaway. So she's giving away Well, nice. I wonder if she kept that. I'm sorry. I'm kind of infatuated with this right now, because this is just so offensive. The fact that you showed me this now, I just want to I'm just disgusted.
Good. Good. I want to rile you up a little bit.
I'm flat out disgusted that she calls herself a fitness professional and I have to call myself a fitness professional.
Right. Exactly.
To me, that's what's upsetting.
Right. No, but I would be upset about it too. But I mean, again, and it's also like, not that this will ever be disclosed, but how much money did she fleece from people, and how much money is she going to keep?
What's her product? Can we look up on?
I don't know. No, she was selling nutrition plans and training plans, I think it was.
Oh, so it had to be. So if she's selling it's not a subscription. So she's probably selling it for anywhere from $50 to $100. I would think, right?
Again, I'm guessing. I didn't really.
Let's see if she still.
I don't know much
she
about
probably
her.
hasn't taken it down.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I don't know too much about her, but I think that's what I read.
Hold on, wait. I gotta look at Brittany Dawn Fitness. Oh, she's getting a ton of press though right now. Does she gain followers or does she lose followers?
I don't know, but when you look her up now, like the first thing that pops up is, in the news at least, is
okay, so she definitely hasn't. Plan, Eat, Lose Volume 2 now available. Okay, so Hit Volume 2.
I wonder what Volume 3 will be.
That's original.
Wonder how many pages that one will be.
Oh, here we go. Wow. Categories: at-home workout program, $45. What did I say? I said $50 to $100. At-home workout program, $45. Self-guided training plans, $45. Hit ebook volume 2, $24.99. So wait a second. Plan, Eat, Lose. So she sold this stuff without even having a program up there? It's scalable. I don't really understand. It's like she can put an ebook up there. She right now can create these plans and get it out to all her subscribers. And she says, I completely apologize. I've been having terrible problems with self-management. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer every single person I screwed over a 30-minute Skype call, and I'm going to make right by this. I'm going to help coach you if I'm a fitness if she actually knows what she's doing.
Do you think that Skype call would be her reading off her phone? Hi, Don. How are you today? Don just blows right through me. Don just doesn't even entertain me talking to him. I could be a statue, and Don would just keep on rolling through, because he's now
I'm obsessed,
zeroed in with Brittany's whatever her fucking name is, fitness.
Let's call it my Hit ebook volume 2. My Plan, Eat, Lose volume 2. So let's just load up a bowl with, what is that? Just fruit and nuts and sugar and all carbs, because they're from the best stuff on earth.
Snapple?
I can't stand people like this. I really have no tolerance for them.
What about the Snapple lady? I wonder what she's up to.
I wonder what. I mean, how are you? But listen, how are you? How do you think we can deal with this? Is this our fight?
Look,
I mean,
man,
technically, I mean, this is like you're in this industry where these people are now.
No, I know. Look,
Is this our fight, or we leave it alone?
No. I think it definitely is. This is the whole issue. It's like we you know, and I definitely try to make light about it because I'm trying to bring you back and gaze into my eyes. But like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. How do you combat that? How do you create this? These I don't know, man. How do you like separate this? I don't know.
People just have to, I think people have to start getting smarter, and before they go to someone's site and they look at, think about this. Imagine going on a date and being able to orchestrate everything you wanted the way you wanted it. Like, imagine just...
Very fast date.
Yeah. That's really good. You follow what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
We're creating, if you create a website, you're putting up the content and information that you want.
Yeah.
If you have someone who's exceptional at marketing, they're going to be able to curate. Perfect example. This guy in the industry, Kino Body. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
He's like 24 years old. I don't even know how old he is. He's supposedly. I'm really bashing today. I'm in one of those moods.
Come on, let's let it go.
Supposedly he shot this video in his like parents' house or his dad's house, and he's driving like a sport car, and it's like this castle, it's this mansion, and he does a knockoff of American Psycho.
Okay.
Remember with Pat Bateman?
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up and I do an exfoliating eye balm, and then he kind of goes. So he basically like impersonates this whole thing.
Right, except he uses Cindy Crawford products.
Like, Cindy Crawford products are great.
Like, yeah.
Look at my skin.
Yeah. I know. I noticed the minute you
Thanks,
walked
Cindy.
in.
But he basically now brings this great marketing person in to curate this content that he wants, and the next thing you know, he's doing shoulder presses with like a huge arch off of an inclined bench, and it's just like you're just looking at him. If you know what you're talking about, you're just like, oh my god, this is terrible. But then he starts with the before after, so he starts throwing in that emotional grabber, and now he starts showing like the 18-year-old kid who had like the little pot belly, and the next thing you know, the kid's sitting there with like double bicep pose, and you're like, wow, he looks good. And you know, in all fairness, like I went through the guy's site, like however many testimonials he had, like everyone showed a significant improvement.
Right.
And that's what he's selling. But there's no credibility on this guy. This guy basically had some money and had a good marketing person to go in and hire, and no one knows if he knows anything about coaching.
Yeah.
And he's selling that. And the problem is I just saw for the first time this Dawn girl is basically robbing people. So I think there's got to be some quality control. I think you got to find out who the hell are you buying from? Who are you trusting?
But with that last guy, if it's working, then
what's the problem?
Yeah, that he is coaching. Yeah. That he does know something.
And that's another point also.
Which is tough because I mean, you got to start somewhere, and it's not that everybody is gonna look. Everybody's not gonna cut their teeth like you did, and I get that. And I'm not saying you're saying that, but
I'm not saying, and you're 100% right. I mean, listen, it's getting into the whole P90X thing. For years, people would be bashing it, and they'd be like, oh, P90X, and it's like, listen, in all fairness, like it's push-ups, it's bodyweight squats, it's lunges, it's martial arts, yoga, whatever the hell it is. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
It works. If you take someone off the couch who's living a sedentary lifestyle and you get them working out 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week, and you put them on a sensible diet, guess what? Odds are they're going to improve.
Yeah.
In 90 days.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's part. My question is this: like, when you're getting someone into good shape, are they staying in good shape? Are you retaining them for a while? This kid, yeah, exactly what I said. He got a before and after done. Uh-huh. My question is what's happening months down the road, years down the road?
But you also know that those are bullshit, right? A lot of them?
A lot of them are, yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are like, you eat or you don't eat to look a certain way because you want your before and after to be so drastic that it is a marketing tool that it's like, holy shit, this guy, Absolutely. He looks so much better now that he's been on product X or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And look, so it's, but again, it's like, when, I see Michael Jordan drink Gatorade, it's like, well, I got to drink Gatorade.
Sure.
So I get it. So again, it gets tough. It's like, how do you school people up? And then as you're older, I'm like, wow, Gatorade sure does have a lot of sugar in it. Do I really need it?
I think you really got to do, I think you got to do research. I think you have to.
People are lazy.
Yeah.
So
they are. And you gotta, there's gotta be more quality control. I think there's gotta be more, I don't want to just say testimonials, but reviews. Like I'd love it if there was, like on our app, there's a review section, and sometimes, I get a lot of 5 stars, and sometimes
Playbook app is what he's talking about.
Playbook app. Thank you. See, I'm not trying to sound so. I'm not trying to be promoted.
I know, but when you say our, like my, my app or app, somebody's got to know where to go.
So my Playbook app, when you go to it, like, yes, I all 5 stars, 5 stars. Every once in a while, I might get a 4 or 3 star in there, and I'm like, why is that? And I'll look down, and they'll be like, this workout wasn't hard enough, and I'm like, you know what? Any workout is as hard as you want to make it.
Yeah.
If I turn around right now and I give you deadlifts tomorrow and it's one exercise, and I'm like, you're doing one exercise, I can assure you right now that I can have you leave in an hour probably feeling like you have to go home and go to sleep. All right? Or you can leave there with doing your deadlifts and saying to yourself, oh, that was easy. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you feel like it's easier, go heavier.
Right.
Like it's just, why aren't you going heavier? Like if you think your form's perfect, go heavier. Like it's not about the movements.
And that with just like those reviews and just likes and follows and stuff, a lot of people just buy them. A lot of people spend money and just buy them.
Right.
Which you've talked about it. You spent a lot of time getting your following on Instagram up, past the 150,000 mark, and it took a long time and it took a lot of work. Some people will just spend the money to get it up there just for,
and
show.
you can't even worry about it anymore. Yeah. Like, even with following, you almost made me think of Fyre Festival, Fyre Festival, which we have to talk about.
I watched the other one, too. Yeah. I watched the Netflix one.
I want to get your opinion on that, because I watched the Netflix. I didn't see the Hulu one yet. But, for years when I was starting out with social media, your main thought process is developing a following. Now I just try and put out great content for people to love and understand, because I can't sit there and worry if I get 5,000 likes on a post, or if I get 1,000 likes on a post, or if Instagram's going to redo their algorithm, or how many views a video's getting. Like, I need to just try and put good quality content out there, and I need to focus on what my pillars are and why am I doing Instagram. It's not to show my abs. It's to help.
It's to show your ass.
Show my ass. It's to help put people in a better situation to be successful with fitness, and it's to be able to be a solution for them. I'm trying to be a solution. That makes sense?
It does, but see, I'm on the opposite side of that right now, because with what we're doing right here, I'm working with our small team trying to figure out the best way to position it. And for us, it's new to us in a lot of ways. Like, I've never really had to dive deep into YouTube analytics.
Right.
So it's very new, and it's also like there's a lot of questions that come along with it that spring up. What kind of, stock photography we use sometimes, it's cheesy and stupid looking, but we
might be all you have.
It might be all we have. Yeah, so it's like we use it because we want to get this out there, and we have a lot just backlogged. We have a lot that are ready to go, and we're trying to create consistency. And as you know, we filmed this even before anything was published, we filmed this for months.
Right.
I mean, this is like the freaking 17th iteration. So for me, I'm just saying, like, I get it where, like, you've gotten to that point where you want to just put out good content. I think that's honestly what we're trying to do here too. Right. But I also have to now work with the team to try to figure out the best way to get it out there, so we're not publishing into a black hole.
No, understood. But listen, if you're late to a dance, you're late to a dance. It's like there's nothing you can do about it. You could sit in the corner, you could sulk like a lot of people do, and I knew someone was going to come out of your mouth right there. I was waiting for it. But a lot of these people with incredible followings, I mean, they jumped out 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. They were at the forefront of all this, and it really was a timing thing. And if you took the same person and you put them out now, no, they would never develop a following that fast. No, they wouldn't be noticed that much. But timing is a lot sometimes in business. But if you are doing it, like, this is my advice for someone who is a fitness professional and they've been grinding. Do it for the right reasons. Like, get it up. Just tell yourself, like,
dance like nobody's watching.
Like no one's watching. Exactly. I got into training to help people. I got into training because I had a passion.
But why
do
you dance?
I'm not that good of a dancer.
I'm definitely not a good dancer.
I could dance.
I can sway and hold my wife's hips. And sometimes, like, I put it back. That's interesting. Yes, it's very wooden. I just feel like you'd have.
Look at the mic. It wants to make a run towards me.
It's going up. It's going to.
Here we go. Who's in charge of the mics here anyway? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Probably Daniel or Pierce.
It's probably
like
Daniel.
Those guys. I mean, those guys.
Daniel, we're just gonna keep this the way it is today, wherever you are.
Just call him. Sometimes I want to call him Dan.
Dan.
He wants to be called Daniel. But.
We can keep it and this is where it ties into the whole Fyre Festival thing, because it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
What we're seeing on social media, it's exactly the same thing. You have you have this. What was this guy's name again?
Billy something.
Billy whatever. We shouldn't even be saying his last name because you shouldn't be giving him credit for something. He's a terrible human being.
Billy something. That's
but
good.
he turns around and he tries to sell this exclusive party that everyone wants to come and have a blast at. And they even said it, I mean, early on. I mean, when he had that initial kind of social media shoot with all the models, like that was the festival. That's what they were all saying. But I mean, he basically it was fraud. I don't know why Ja Rule got off so easily on this. And the funny thing in the movie was, I mean, they were recording his voice. You heard him say it. He's like, and the team around him was like, "Can you go apologize?" He's like, "For what? Like, what did I do?" And he's like, "They're like fraud." He's like, "No, that's not fraud. No, it's false advertising." And I'm like, "Wait!" My 11-year-old daughter's sitting there watching a movie she shouldn't have been. But it was a great. No, it was a great. As a parent, it was a great lesson for her because she was like, "Oh my God, people can lie like this." I'm like, "Yeah, like half the 3/4 of stuff you're watching is complete bullshit."
Yeah.
But what we saw at the Fyre Festival is just a very abbreviated version of what we're seeing on social media right now. And I'm not saying everyone's bad. No, I'm saying that probably 90% of the people out there, it's crap. You know, they're putting up what you want them to see, and it's depressing a lot of people, unfortunately. But
yeah, I mean, look, I think you're just going to have to teach your daughter the right way to fleece people. I think you have to put effort into it.
No, in a way, you're right.
Yeah,
it was a great lesson. Now I want to show her the Halo movie because I want to show her two movies.
Oh, the Hulu movie?
The Halo, Halo.
Yeah,
Halo,
I was like, the what?
The Hulu movie because
the video game movie.
No, because she's going to see now how two movies can get put out.
Yeah,
talking about the same topic but give completely different, viewpoints. And
you ever see the show The Affair?
No, what is that about? Let me guess.
I don't want to ruin it.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
People having affairs?
But it does that. It does just that. It's one. It's like each episode is one event told from two different perspectives, and it's funny how little things can change in it, from what people are wearing to the way that conversations were, went down to the language used, and it's true. Like it a lot of it is perception, and yeah, I don't know, man. I think we just keep chipping away at this, and this is look. You feel bad watching. No, you don't feel bad when people get caught for scamming people. I don't feel bad about it. I don't like to watch people cry. But
I understand how someone can get. How I can understand how someone can start falling down that rabbit hole of like, oh my God, I can't. Trying to dig themselves out of something that they never intended to get into. I can understand how that can happen, but when that guy, whatever his name from the Fyre Festival,
Billy something,
we're just going to call him, ends up coming out on bail, getting out on bail, and then starts another scheme, and collects $100,000. Like, dude, you're a bad person,
right?
You need to go to jail. You obviously think you're invincible. You think that
the
you're
rules
bigger
don't apply.
than that they don't apply, and like let's not even make a movie about you. Let's just throw you away and leave you away for years and learn from your mistakes and get out in 10, 20 years, whatever it is, and just move on.
I think I like the Netflix movie better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like them both, but thinking about it more, I think I like them better.
I'm going to watch the Hulu one, not the Halo one, the Hulu one, and we'll get there.
But the funny thing is, right, so back in the day when you first were introduced to Hugh Jackman, the first, celebrity guy that you trained, it's like, if we've talked about too how your knowledge and your education has evolved since then, and you're not the same type of a trainer, and you wouldn't do the same approach.
No.
But imagine if you were just like this lady, just trying to, scam this dude. It just seems super weird to me, like that. I don't know. I would expect at some point somebody's gonna throw the flag, and like you're gonna be caught.
In the city, if you want to open a facility, there's a level of like, I think, credibility that it shows when you actually are able to open a place. Like, listen, you have to be competent enough to go and find a location and sign a lease and, hire employees. And for you to operate for a period of time, like, you need to be able to manage your books. And like, there's things that have to go into that it's like proofs in the pudding. Like, if you can't do that sort of thing, like, you're either not going to be able to open the doors, which I can't tell you how many people are like, they're trying to open a spot or do something and they're unable to because they just don't have the tools or the resources.
Yeah.
But in a short period of time, you can't fake that stuff. Like, you're out of business if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
The problem with this sort of thing is you can fake it all you want. Mm-hmm. And, she just got caught. I mean, I wonder how many people out there have purchased products that they never received.
Right.
Like, for instance, if I was to go and I was to purchase a product for $30 or $40 or $50, and out of nowhere I found I was getting like I never received the product. Like, I'm not going to go to like small claims court for this. Like, I'm going to lose a hell of a lot more money missing work that day than going and fighting for $30, $40.
Yeah.
It's like when you get that parking ticket and you know it wasn't your fault.
You know, I looked at some of the comments too on that YouTube apology, and one of them
saying?
Well, one of the ones was like, would you really have even said anything if somebody didn't call you out?
Yeah.
And look, probably not.
Probably not.
I'm guessing here, but probably not, because it seems to me this has gone on long enough to where enough people.
How long has it gone? We have to get more facts on this. How long has it gone on for?
Long enough to create news.
You know what they should honestly do?
I don't know.
When someone does something illegal like that, if she's found guilty, like, she should be, like, Instagram should kick her off. Like, they should, like, you need to start getting to that point where there's some quality control. The Wolf of Wall Street. What's the guy's name? Jordan, whatever the hell his name is.
Billy something.
Billy something. We're gonna call them all Billies. His name is Jordan, whatever.
Something.
I saw him advertising. I saw advertisements coming through on Instagram the other day. So he's doing paid ads on how to become like a marketing genius and how to become a business person and like, you know, wow, like this.
I'm getting in on this.
Yeah, but this is a guy who stole.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm not.
A ton.
Unless
of money.
you think I should. Yeah. No, I
You
know.
hear what I'm saying?
I
Like,
do.
why are
I
you
do.
allowing this? Like, you're a criminal. You stole thousands, if not tens of millions of dollars from people, and now we're glorifying that.
I think it's because he did his time, right? So so I'm just I'm playing devil's advocate here. Sure. I know what you're saying. You're saying, why would anybody trust this guy at this point? But at the other side of it, somebody would say,
if he didn't cheat, would he have been able to make money? That's question one. So he cheated to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he cheated, he served his time, he made money, he lost his money, and now because he's claiming, well, I'm a cheat, but I know how to make money, like, I can give you advice. Like, he didn't, you know, it's like, in my eyes, it's like, it's no different than going to a guy for a program and all he did was like pump like tons of steroids in his body. And he just did tons of volume. No, hear me out though. You could take a coach and you could just say, I'm going to hit the iron for the next 10 years and I'm just going to inject myself. But there's no theory, there's no science, there's nothing nutritionally. The guy just turns into this absolute monster. And then you have a demographic out there that's just like, I want to get as big as possible. I'm going to follow what he does.
Right.
Like, does that mean he knows what he's doing?
No, but isn't that what in like the bodybuilding industry that they would call gurus?
You know,
like,
a lot of them do that,
right.
But then you have guys that are guys that I respect, like what we were talking about earlier, Ben Pekulski, that, yeah, sure, was on performance-enhancing drugs. He will admit it, but he did it because it was part of the sport, and he's an incredibly intelligent human being that understands anatomy and kinesiology and nutrition and brain function and gut health. And wow, like, this is someone that I have learned from, and I've gone and interviewed and, you know, consider him a friend. So, yeah, no, there's two ends of the spectrum, but who are we listening to? People listen to the guy out there who has the bigger following and that, you know, has won the Olympia X amount of times and has a huge social following.
It's also in the delivery, right? So if it's a flashy delivery and the presentation is, you know, nice and sparkly, it's like, well, clearly this person has the resources because they know what they're doing.
Right.
And yeah, it's, you know, you don't know if they sold everything they had and dumped it into that just to try to hook you with. I don't, you know, no, it's hard. Look, I get it. It's hard. And I mean, when I was younger, I definitely bought into a lot of the things that I shouldn't have. I never got into performance enhancing drugs, but it was never something that was appealing to me because I knew it was, the benefits were short term. What was I going to do? Like, I wasn't going to be.
Yeah, I was always afraid of it.
Yeah, me too.
I was afraid. So one of my best friends, who I buried 9 years ago, so I'm 41 now. I'm 32 years old at the time, and I buried him at 32, and I saw for probably, you know, 5 to 10. I mean, I started in the city at 21, so another 10 years before that, I saw him struggle with it. I saw that it was. I saw a lot of guys from, you know, Steel Gym and different spots I used to work out with who looked incredibly unhealthy. They never had a look that I wanted, and I saw things that they were battling with, like my buddy Tommy had open heart surgery at 37 years old. He had triple bypass surgery at 37 years old. You start saying to yourself, I'm not even thinking about, like, you know, I'd almost run in a different direction. And then I just didn't really, and then I also thought because of my craft, I'm like, well, wait a second, if I'm on this, how am I going to be able, which I would never do, how am I going to be able to coach? How can I give someone experience if, you know, if a man or a woman is taking performance enhancing drugs, they are they're recovering differently. Their bodies are responding to the supplements differently. They're metabolizing foods differently. You know, how can you give advice to someone else? How do you really know? Like all that theory and that trial and error, in my eyes, it's like it starts diminishing. The credibility starts diminishing because of it.
I guess it's like if you want to go down that path, you should seek somebody that has gone down it before, so they can help you navigate it. Maybe,
or just a doctor, someone who,
well, definitely,
like
I mean,
someone who's like, all right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Like,
right.
Express your concerns. And I'm not telling anyone out there to get on it, but I would,
no.
if you were thinking about it, go to a doctor. Say, one, do I need this? Is my testosterone level not producing? If I get on it, is this gonna shut down my natural production of hormones? And find out about that. If I'm on it, how long should I be on it for? Like, there's certain intelligent questions you should ask. The worst, I mean, I would tell you never to. I mean, even a guy at my age, 40 years old, 50 years old.
I thought you were 41.
41. I'm trying to sell it. But the thing about it, you don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. If I got on it now and I had a doctor prescribe it to me, what's going to happen by the time I'm 60? Is my body going to start shutting down? Is there going to be a cancer cell in my body that's suddenly going to just grow tenfold because of this? You know, I don't know.
It'd be pretty cool if you like grew a tail or like claws or something. That'd be a story.
I'm talking about something serious and you know it, and you just throw it in my face.
I'm sorry, you're right.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe a horn.
And it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I thought we were gonna, be special and just whatever.
Well, we do have a special Valentine's Day gift, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I swear.
Is this knob like basically trying to jam itself in my mouth like every time it's coming?
I wouldn't want to infringe on that date. No. So Pierce, camera guy, crew guy,
Pierce,
awesome guy.
One with the full head of hair.
Yeah, a big afro.
Yeah, he's combing it right now.
His fiance made cupcakes, and there was a bet going that Don wouldn't taste them.
Are they gluten-free cookies? Are they?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
I think they're regular. I said I don't know if he would.
I don't know if I would either. I actually had a little treat last night. I'm feeling kind of veiny right now. It feels nice.
Yeah? What was the treat?
I ate a pint of Haagen-Dazs, and then I just polished off these like warm, these hot. I don't know what. Don't ask. I'm not paleo, but I ate these like homemade paleo cookies that came out piping hot with like dark chocolate in them. So I threw the cookies on top of this big bowl of vanilla Haagen-Dazs, and it really literally started to melt the ice cream. And with every bite of the warm cookie, you get this vanilla ice cream. I mean, it's honestly, look at me smiling right now. You think there was a woman under the table? I mean, I'm literally.
So
this weird. Can I at least look at it?
Take a look at it. Like, but what if it fits your macros?
Oh, you know what?
What if
Well, a couple things. One, I'm not a cupcake guy.
Oh.
But two, like I don't like cupcakes.
No.
But two, like I think she did an incredible job with this. She seems incredibly talented. This is a lovely.
I don't know if she baked them.
Yeah, maybe she
Did she?
Did she bake these? No, he's shaking his head no. All right, so never
She
mind.
said yes.
So it would have been even more impressive.
But
Can we get Andrew in here to discuss if he can eat these? Like, how would he weigh that?
Why? Because it fits his macros, right?
That's another topic that drives me nuts. Can we get Andrew in here?
Yeah. Let's.
Can we get Andrew?
You want to grab him? Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
You want a cupcake? If it fits your
But it could fit your macros.
Yes. The problem is I don't know what's in that, and I can't weigh it out. I don't have a food scale. I weigh my food. I do count my macros.
So can you go through a typical day of eating?
Okay, I can tell you what I'm going to eat today because I also pre-plan my days.
Have you eaten it so far? You've eaten already, right?
Yeah, I have my fitness pal. Pull it up right now.
Amazing. I love to see it.
And so, okay, what are you doing it for? That's important.
What am I doing? I'm sorry. What's the question?
Are you just following this for your own? Just because you love it, or?
Well, right now my goal is to lose weight, so I'm trying to get under 200 pounds.
How much you weigh?
209 right now.
9 pounds will be easy.
Yeah. I mean, I started at like 217, let's say. So I'm like.
Have you tried cocaine yet, or no?
How about meth? I mean,
meth. I wouldn't recommend.
Cigarettes?
I wouldn't do meth.
Yeah.
Messes your teeth up.
If you need cigarettes, we'll take you to the elementary
Cleansing.
school. Yeah, we'll grab them from the kids there.
Easy to do at work in the bathroom.
Cleansing. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, so okay, I'll read you like right now like what my day of eating is. So I'm at like 2,100 calories for the day.
What's your total calories for the day? What are you trying to hit?
2,100.
No, what are you trying to hit?
2,100 to 2,200.
Oh, but you're at 2,100 already.
No, I'm at 18 right now.
Oh,
18. So my breakfast was 3 slices of Ezekiel cinnamon raisin toast, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter.
What? Can't believe you didn't have one. I'm impressed.
I had
Maybe later.
a ham, egg, and cheese muffin sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts. Then I had half a pound of raw baby spinach, a cup of cooked rice, 8 ounces of plain chicken, and then for dinner I'm having another half pound of raw spinach, 6 ounces of plain chicken, and then I round out my night with 85 grams of popcorn and a kombucha.
Interesting. The kombucha has caffeine in it, right?
It has a little caffeine. It also has about 10 grams of sugar per bottle, I think. Yeah.
Do you fight a lot of cravings? Is that why you're doing it?
Yeah. So like at heart, I'm a fat kid. Like I love fast food. I love
What's your favorite fast food?
Man, I love a Big Mac. I love a Big Mac.
So what else? What other things didn't work that led you here?
I found that tracking my calories and looking at the numbers forces me to eat the foods that I typically wouldn't go out of my way to eat, right? So
yeah, like the spinach and the
and the plain chicken and the half.
You don't crave raw spinach or whatever it is, the steamed spinach.
Yeah, not at all. No, so as Don probably knows and as you know too, like hitting 200 grams of protein and 200 grams of carbs and like 50 grams of fat, to do that you can't eat Pop-Tarts. You can't eat a Big Mac because a Big Mac has like 41 grams of fat right there. So that's your fat. So it forces structure for me. Otherwise, I'm the kind of guy who...
How many carbs is... So 41 grams... Give me the statistics on a Big Mac. How much protein?
Big Mac, I can't tell you. I could look it up, but I think a Big Mac is 540 calories. I know that. Probably.
That seems low.
Yeah, but have you ever... When's the last time... It doesn't fill you up. It doesn't fill you up.
540 calories doesn't seem like... My meals are roughly, anywhere from 700 to 1,000 calories.
I mean, okay, let's think about it though. Big Mac is like it's 2 patties, right?
Yeah, it's 2 patties.
2 patties, some cheese, a bunch of vegetables. There's lettuce, there's tomatoes, onions,
and the sauce. Like the sauce and cheese alone is probably like 200.
I don't know. I haven't had a Big Mac in a very long time. I'm just guessing that's. I'm just assuming that's on there.
So this gives you an opportunity to still enjoy some things you love.
Yeah.
But show some discipline. So it keeps you on track. So where you feel like you would normally really be going overboard. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's think about that diet. I mean, out of anything, you didn't have a Big Mac today. You didn't have anything.
I haven't had a Big Mac in like a year probably.
What have you really had? Because it
doesn't fit his macros.
Because it doesn't fit. Yeah, I can't eat it, man.
But so you're having a little popcorn.
I'm having a little popcorn, like the Dunkin' Donuts egg and cheese is probably not something.
It's not the best thing, but at the end of the day, like
it's 350 calories. Yeah.
So that's where you're really
croissant or
just an English muffin. Yeah, just an English muffin.
Right, so like
Thomas's.
Nice and toasted, crispy.
Yeah, you can make that at home.
PB&J. Really nice.
Nooks and crannies.
No, I get it. So have you? What was the most successful you've ever felt with on a specific diet? Like, is there anything you ever did where you're like, that's the best I ever looked, that's the best I ever felt, but it was impossible?
But wouldn't it happen to do with his goals? Because I mean, he did a strongman show and he was the strongest he's ever been, but he was also the heaviest he'd ever been. So, I mean,
how heavy were you when you were your strongest?
Not that I want to talk for you, sorry. But I remember seeing.
I was like 221.
And you said you're 209 now.
209 now.
Okay.
So I was.
And I gotta say, I didn't think the difference is like seeing you now and seeing you then. Is it still coming after you?
Okay. I'm starting to enjoy it.
I don't think it's. You definitely look bigger at that point, but it's not like looking at you now and looking at you then. It would have been like, oh my god, he was freaking huge. He was way too heavy.
You call yourself a fat kid. I wouldn't even categorize
at heart.
Yeah, but I mean, not even close. I mean, you've got a good athletic build on you. Yeah.
He's got some ham hocks and an ass on him too. He's built for squatting.
That's where that's where the 11 pounds went.
He's built for lower body exercise.
It's good. I'm curious if you actually cleaned up your calories.
Yeah.
So the quality of food, you're talking about quality.
Yeah, the quality of food. Like, listen, is popcorn the worst thing for you? Like, the thing I've always followed, and listen, last night I went off a little bit. I had fun, but what the hell,
Let his hair down. Whipped it around.
But, I'm curious to see if you actually cleaned up the calories and you stayed satiated, maybe even bumped up the calories and got them a little bit higher, but to the point where you weren't ever craving anything. Like, I feel like it'd be a much cleaner burn on you.
But so that makes sense. But
you're
zeroing on these. But you're zeroing on the popcorn though. Like why? So that if that's like a snack he's having, are you saying ditch that for something in the day that's going to be a little?
Well,
bit
I haven't really
filling?
seen the timeliness of his eating also, so I haven't seen like during the day like. I need to kind of almost see at the time of day what his meal portions look like.
Just 5 minutes ago, he's just shoving it in his pie hole.
I think
there's more I need to see. I mean, I think for someone who's trying to get lean, I have a different, like, I can get someone leaner without putting them into a heavy deficit. If they are consuming crap calories and then you suddenly, and they're not losing weight, and then you keep the calories the same, but you clean up the calories a lot, it's going to make a difference. Like, the body will start getting tighter, like, things will start taking change over time. They may not see a significant weight loss, but maybe they look the way they want to look. Maybe they look better. Like, yeah, wait, how tall are you?
5'11".
Oh, okay, so I'm 6. I'm 6'1". I probably, I weigh a little bit heavier than you. So I'm like 2 right now, probably 215.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
So
if
we
you,
look
Jeez,
about the same.
really letting it go.
Yeah.
no, but here we go again. but I'm just saying that I understand the if it fits your macros. I get it. I'm a food quality guy, and I'm someone that I'm a believer in, like, put really good stuff in your body. If you want to enjoy or come off track a little bit, great. If you stay satiated, you won't be craving crap. A lot of times people crave crap because they're undernourished and they're starving, and food is almost, it's like a drug. It's like you get home from work, you're exhausted, you had a long day, you just want to sit down, you want to relax, you want to be around this guy, and then suddenly, let me just, what I ended up
I
doing
don't,
last night.
listen, I drive people to drink,
But
not eat.
it's working for you. It's working for you a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not trying to look like a bodybuilder, right? You're just trying to get, your goal is to get to 200 pounds.
Yeah, my goal is to get to just under, so 199 is the goal. But also I'm pretty honest with myself in the sense of, as you know, the compliance for somebody to get to whatever body fat you're at, 0 or 1 or whatever, is really
0.5.
you have to be dialed the hell in. And I am honest with myself in the sense that
You're not that type of person.
I like having beer on the weekend. I like going home and having a beer if I want it.
You should be able to,
IPA?
though.
Yeah, IPA.
IPA,
just a 300 calorie IPA. I like, being compliant 80% of the time and then letting loose 20. And if that means that I'm not ever going to have an 8-pack, then I'm okay with that.
He'll take a 6-pack.
Yeah, I'll take a 6-pack or a 4-pack, but I
really respect that. I think that's great. I mean, it was interesting. They did, I forgot who did this poll, but it went out to a group of women, and the question was asked.
Oh, yeah.
I think I brought this up to you.
Yeah.
If you can lose... I didn't bring this up to you.
No, you did. It's just, to me, it's crazy that people,
You and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
If you can be 10 pounds heavier, but have the exact body you want. So, think about this. If you can be 10 pounds heavier and have the exact body you want, or be the exact weight you want, but not look the way what would you rather be? And the majority of the women said
10
about
pounds
the scale.
lighter.
Yeah, about 10 pounds lighter. It was all everyone was asphyxiated with this number. And me, I'm the reason why I know what I weigh is because there just happens to be a scale of drive, and when I'm standing there about to get into a shower, I'm like, well, let's just see where I'm at. I came off a rough weekend. I'm at 215. All right, I'm a few pounds heavy, but I don't care because I immediately know with the way I'm eating, I'll drop a couple pounds of water weight.
Well, you're smart enough to know that that stuff fluctuates,
Right.
and just I use it as a way to measure my progress, but I'm also so you asked me earlier, what's the leanest, the best I've looked, or what's the cleanest diet. So in college, I did a bodybuilding show, and I got down to 161.
Do you have why don't you show them the picture?
I got down to 161.
Go ahead and show. Go ahead.
I was really lean.
Show us all.
Maybe not.
Zach
Zach lives to embarrass me. He wanted to make this my Olympia photo.
That's true. Instead, I had him holding a big
cheeseburger.
Big cheeseburger.
You really threw him under the bus like that? That's amazing.
They were supposed to make him another one, but they didn't.
I think the great thing about this conversation. Go to drink it.
So
Do
that,
something.
Damn, bro.
yeah, so that was the leanest I've ever been, and that.
Can we get this on
Yeah,
camera?
No.
I mean, look, there he is in his sweatpants.
I'm going to show that over there 1 second.
Oh man, this
There it
is so
is.
embarrassing.
It shouldn't be. I mean, honestly, Andrew, you look incredible. But
Just so you know, that's
One more time.
that's
no,
50 pounds less than I weigh now.
but you said something that was really intelligent, and I cannot
That's
argue
rare.
with this.
Thank you.
There he
No.
is.
You said that you still want to
face is the
enjoy.
same.
You still want to enjoy, and there's you know you're pretty close to a point where you're like, wow, no, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. It's like you'll be happy at 200 pounds being able to have balance in your life and do what you have to do. I'm a believer that you can still have balance in your life and you can really surprise yourself with what the human body can do.
Yeah.
But, to each his own. Like, I can't tell anyone how they
my
wanna
thing
look
is
or
this.
feel.
Are you planning to do, I know you got injured when you were preparing for your last show, Strongman show. Are you going to do that again? Or do you have another goal?
Yeah, right. So right now, small goals, small steps. I'm just kind of like doing like the 5-3-1 linear progression program.
I love it. That it's a Wendler's, all Wendler stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
Wendler's 5-3-1. So it's
Awesome.
4 days a week, super manageable, getting my strength back.
So can you just, for people who don't know, just kind of explain what, like...
So Wendler's 5-3-1 is based around the 4 big lifts, which is the deadlift or trap bar deadlift for me, the bench press, the back squat or front squat, and then the military press. And what you do is they're 4-week cycles, one of those weeks being a light week, a deload, and each week you just lift a little more than you did the week before, and then you keep repeating that every cycle with a little more weight. So it's called linear progression. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's important to know.
Why don't you just go to muscleandfitness.com?
Or just go to muscleandfitness.com.
Or buy the magazine. Shell out $6, cheapos.
Yeah, I'm terrible at plugging. So I'm doing that, and I'm just trying to get under 200. That's the goal right now.
And,
Okay.
and honestly, I don't know Wendler from a hole in the wall, but the program's very good. It's very simple.
I hope you would.
And,
No, I mean, that's very,
but
very
it's just a
distinct.
perfect example that it doesn't, to see great results, you do not need something that's fluffy. It's
Yeah.
really, really basic.
But you
It's
also
really
enjoy, I mean, look, do you
you
enjoy
enjoy
doing those? You enjoy doing those, right? You're good at them.
I love strength training. I love lifting. I love lifting heavy weight.
That's me.
See,
Yeah,
I'll do it every so often, but like I don't do it as often as you guys. I did buy myself a trap bar
Right.
On
Good.
your recommendation. Yeah,
All
I
right.
know.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great investment.
Yeah, you're right. I think Andrew actually said the same thing. I was talking about the same discussion I had with you, I had with him, and was kind of running through what I would get. Ultimately decided on that. But yeah, I don't love training heavy anymore. I did when I was younger. I was super into it. And I don't know, at some point, there was just this drop off for me. And I'll do it every so often now, but I just stopped enjoying it as much. I think my body started to respond differently. And maybe it was just injuries catching up with me. Maybe it was just my interests started to vary. But I still love to train. And when I started to do more OCR OCR races, I started to train differently. And I hated that at first too, to be honest. And I just learned to love it. So it's weird because now with the trap bar, I think I do want to start to get into a little bit more of a heavyweight, but I don't.
You also have to do what you enjoy and you love. Granted, it's not, like I say, offensive. And if pump work is what you love to do, or I know you do OCR stuff, but if you like to get a lot of blood in the muscle and do more bodybuilding, it's
pump work.
Yeah, but
No thanks.
I'm throwing you lobs right now. You
Not
should be
really
able to
into
knock this- you should be able to knock
not
this
into
out
pump
of-
work.
I keep throwing these lobs. You should be able to knock this out of the park right now.
I was just taking that one in. Yeah. I know. I get it. Pump off, pump work. Yeah, I don't think so, Don. Sicko.
I believe you got to do what you enjoy. I mean, what frustrates me is when people are doing things and it's just beating the living crap out of them.
Well, I actually have a question for you, Zach, based
Sure.
on your type of training, and Don, maybe you can. Chime in. I'm a big believer in. I think every good training program should be based on progression, which was why I think Wendler's 5-3-1 is so important for anybody because it forces you to progress. So, like the way you train, and I don't think we've ever really worked out, but I've seen you train. I know how you train. Like, how do you progress workout to workout? Like, what's your what's your I've never, he just like looks like that. Yeah. How do you progress workout to workout? Like, how do you keep track of what you're doing, and how do you like increase the difficulty? So
It depends on the event. What I'm going for. Like, there's times where I'll know I'm weak in my grip, so I'll do a lot of like upper body grip strength and a lot of maybe just farmer's carry, something like that. That's really going to tax my grip. But I always want to make sure that I try to get a full body workout every time I'm doing something. I don't really focus on any. I don't just do like biceps anymore. I might throw like on certain days, I may throw some extra ancillary stuff in there just to feel it. But like really, I start to think about where I lagged the last time. And it usually, for me, it's endurance, just straight up. Like, I usually gas out. So it's a lot of, because I don't love to run. I fucking hate it. So I had to really get myself mentally into at least finding a way to enjoy it, specifically because there's no music when I was doing it. And again, I wasn't doing these like, I did a bunch of long ones, and it was long races, and it was very new to me. So it was very different for me, and I was learning. It was a lot of trial and error, and there was times where I definitely screwed up stuff. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the mic because I'm starting to play with it. It was on camera, but I don't even care at this point.
So yeah, like a lot of times, so I would keep
mic.
Yeah, but there's times where if I'm training for on a weekend 4 to 6 hours, which sucks, but I also was doing that to see how my body would respond, knowing I'd be out on the course for 24 at some point, or at one point it was 27, I think was the longest I did. I had to see how I was going to feel. And I also had to see like what I could do in terms of bursts of energy. So how much would I have to eat if I was going to go on a long run, a 10-mile run, and then come back and do circuits for an hour, and then do stairs for 30 minutes, and then come back up and do 5 Tabata. You know what I mean? It was really just me keeping tabs on what I was doing and how I was feeling. And a lot of times it was really just figuring out how to eat more, how to do that, which I have a hard time doing, period. Yeah. And just seeing, okay, where did I really feel weak? Because it's not like, it's a different style of training. Yeah. And it's like, it was really weird. Every race I did, something new would come up. Sometimes it was balance. Like my balance sucked. Like I couldn't balance on beams. I couldn't balance on like the I don't know what they're, the ribbon things. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
So I don't
slack lines?
Yeah, I suck at them. I'm terrible.
Yeah. So
they're
very hard.
Yeah, and so it was a lot of it was just it was new. So and that's what I think was really so enjoyable for me was that discovery. Whereas I know that if I'm going to go train for like I don't know, a different event, like a sport, I know what's ahead of me. Yeah. Right. And I'm not interested in that right now. Maybe I will be, but not right now. So
listen, when you said linear progression or linear periodization, or call it what you want. I mean, I know that you can see. I know personally, I'll see a great result when I'm following a program, and the percentages every week are increasing. Some of the best gains I've ever had work that way, but just because someone's not doing it doesn't mean that they're not going to get into better shape or they're not going to improve. And there's certain people out there that have never paid any attention to that nor know what it even is. Yeah. And they build great physiques and have been crazy strong, and they're just coming in with the thought process of when I feel really good. And that's funny. Some of the strongest guys I've met kind of say the same thing to me. They're almost not this obsessive personality where they're going to like overtrain themselves or like go so haywire. They're like, no, I'm coming in, I feel like going heavy, and I'm going to go heavy, and when I'm not feeling my best, I can make an adjustment, and when I'm done, I'm done. Like, you never hear them. Like, I'm the type of personality that I love feeling good when I'm training, and when I'm feeling good when I'm training, and people are like, let's do this. A lot of times in the past, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's start
push it a little bit.
You want to push it because you just enjoy that feeling, and I enjoy training with. Some of the strongest guys I ever met, they're the ones who are almost a little lazy in a way. Does that make sense? Where they're always leaving a little bit of gas in the tank, and they're always leaving when they're done or when the program says, today you're doing these 2 lifts and it's only 8 sets and that's all you're hitting and you're out of here. And they leave and they see really great results.
Is that a happy coincidence? Is that just
No, it's not. I really believe when it comes to strength training, you can't, the line I like to use, overstay your welcome. When you're building strength, you need to really understand that when you hit that number or when you hit that point of, Poliquin used to talk about, the late Charles Poliquin.
I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, he used to talk about critical drop-off point. So he would talk, and for him, I think it was like a 3 rep. So if you're hitting your 8s on like German volume training, or if you're hitting 10s and out of nowhere, 1 set you get 7, he's like, you're done. That's it. Like you're out. Like where other guys would like try and take more rests or try and force some reps or try and lighten up weight. He's like, no, you're done. Your body's telling you you're done. It's time to move on.
Yeah, it's all about rest too. He would bring it. Sorry, go ahead.
No. There's 2 other things I wanted to bring up. One is that so when I was cleaning up a bunch of stuff at my mom's place, I found folders full of old workout charts. And
that's cool. That's fun.
It was fun, but it also reminded me that I got burned out from filling them out, from following them. And a lot of it was because of sports. And it really took a lot of enjoyment out of training for me. And it just was a reminder that there's there's more. You can do more. You can explore more. And it was a really like just to like if I think maybe if I tried a program like you're doing now, maybe I would enjoy it because it's been so long. But that's why I initially took that break. I just had it. The second thing that I want to bring up is that the biggest thing that I learned, I think, was like the mental component to this whole thing. Specifically, the last race I did, which is the death race, and it was after talking to Joe DeSena, the guy who runs Spartan Race, and he runs Death Race as well. That race was created to like separate people. It doesn't matter how fit you are. It doesn't matter how much you prepare physically.
You gotta be built a
it's
certain way
up
of it,
here, and I didn't really know that going in.
Yeah.
As much as I as much as obviously I should have because I didn't make it all the way through. I got yanked. So that to me was like just showed me how powerful that can be. Like just staying positive when things are totally, absolutely in the shitter. And look, I'm still working at it, but I mean, I pitched them. I want them to be my partner this year to run the race. It's a partner. I guess they're making people get partners. No, Joe DeSena.
Oh, you want Joe?
I did ask Don. I said I needed to know by February 1st, and Don was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get back to you." Pew,
So you're
away.
more about pushing yourself mental. Like for you, it's more about like how hard can I push myself and not quit? Is kind of what it sounds like.
And I think that's kind of what it became, and that's what I took away from it. But right now, since my daughter was born a few months ago, it became about I want to do what I can specifically while I'm in this position, in this job, what it'll afford me to do what I can so one day she can look back and say, wow, my dad did some cool shit. He really did try to do some kick-ass stuff. Yeah. Even if he fell flat on his face, even if I do terrible, who gives a shit? Like, I want to try. And that means something to me. And just that was really what I started to think about when I did the death race the first time. But, I'm coming up with a lot of ideas for this whole year, and it's become more motivating to me to, push myself on that, like to see how far I can take it than to see how I'd compete in like, just like an aesthetics, driven show. And like, that's really given me a boost. So, who knows though, maybe next year I'll be like, wow, that was dumb. I don't know, but it does change for me. And
it's tough to commit to a type of training if you're not passionate. There's just certain things people just, when I say don't believe in, I don't mean that comment to say that it's bad, but they're just not feeling it. Like perfect example, one of my coaches is a big Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. I like it. I just don't have an urge to do it and practice and like rolling around the mat on it. It's just not something that I hold close to here.
Right.
I'd rather be throwing the iron around. I'd rather be throwing kettlebells around. I'd rather be doing strongman stuff with you or doing some challenging feats that...
Or snuggling with me.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. Nice to
bring the mic.
Yeah. But that's... Yeah, I mean, you got to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Right. And again, it's each his or her own. Like, it's not that he likes that, great. But just because you don't doesn't mean you're wrong. Like, it's what we've said before, like about CrossFit. Never taken a CrossFit class. You like CrossFit? Great. So what?
Yeah, well,
or
CrossFit,
not. It doesn't matter.
CrossFit, in my eyes, like in the beginning, CrossFit's a sport.
Yeah.
Baseball's not healthy for you. Hockey's not healthy for you.
No.
Running,
beats your body up.
Running is not healthy for you.
Everything beats your body up.
There's a cost to doing business.
And the sun gives you cancer.
Strongman, and strongman is. When I did my first show last January, I was appalled, not surprised, but appalled by how many people there, the most elite competitors, were just like, oh, I tore my right bicep a few months ago. Oh, my quad is still recovering from a tear last year. And they were all injured. And honestly, it was fun to do, and I'm really passionate about that type of training. But it's like, at what cost? Like, is carrying a 450-pound Husafel,
but I'm not saying that you necessarily have to bring it to that level. Like, what if I told you that if we throttle down a little bit more, you might even get stronger? If you took more time off, you might even get stronger. That might be, like if you told me right now, Don, you have to train 3 days a week and only 3 days a week, and you will get into the shape and as strong as you want to get into. I don't know if I'd want to do that because I enjoy training and the sensation it gives my mind and my body.
I think actually Brittany Dawn was selling that program.
Did you hear about this girl? We went off on a
No, who's Brittany? Wait, is
just
she
go
on
watch this
Instagram?
episode. She's the girl that was evidently robbing people of programs and taking their money, and she got busted, and now she's reading an apology off of her phone.
Is she one of those Instagram models who like does the workouts with like on the
horrible,
horse and?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Have
no.
you seen?
No,
There's
she
so many.
just scams people to send in $45 or $29 for books and programs, and then doesn't deliver, and then apologizes like, "But hi everybody, I'm real sorry about it." And it's like,
I wear my heart on my sleeve, so because I wear my heart on my sleeve, I can't talk from my
Brittany
heart.
Dawn?
I have to talk from a piece of paper.
It's incredible, dude. You should. It's a great story. Yeah,
How do people think they can get away with that stuff nowadays?
Can't get away with anything.
Like, everything is so oversaturated, and there are so many eyes on everybody. Like, how do you think you're gonna get away with that?
I mean, yeah, we talked about it for a while, and it comes down to, well, also, how do you enforce, how do you create this integrity, right? How do you separate these paid spokespeople or these phonies from legit coaches and trainers that people should really be paying attention to? And it's hard. And Don and I got into a little bit last week about, he was saying, oh, well, Karina L, what is she? And for me, it's also, there's a couple of things. One, and, I'm not going to go into the whole repetition of things, but we're also interested in stories in a lot of ways. And Andrew can attest, we've had discussions as editors, and Andrew and all the other editors were on board. We have no real interest in just straight up T&A stuff. It's really, you could go buy old Maxim, or you can look on your computer. There's plenty of it. I mean, it does happen that a lot of times that those images, they sell, but also it's like these people want you to do it. That's the way they want to be pictured, and that's totally fine. But, we want more to it. And we've also discussed there's times where we swing and we miss. We do showcase people that later on we're like, meh. But not every hit's a home run. So,
Well, it's hard to tell too. It really is hard to tell.
it is. I mean, Andrew's done interviews where he's come back and talked to me and been like, "Wow, that was a real idiot."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there have been people where.
Please do.
I know. Yeah, we were.
But no, there are people where it's like, how are you? And I'm sure people too, but it's like, how the hell are you training celebrities? How?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the last I checked, to be a celebrity coach or a coach, you don't have to be a Harvard grad. I mean, that's not to downplay what I do. I mean, it really. I mean, people can go get a weekend certification now, and that's why I'm saying that you can get people who have no idea about anything, who are claiming themselves as a fitness expert, and they can go off and the next make millions of dollars in the industry. And the last I checked, when I was growing up, it was never like cream always rose. Like you're not gonna fake it. Like you got to start a business and you got to make the business successful. And you got to have that extra. You got to have that it factor to be able to be successful. Now anyone can be a fraud and they can just go do it. Like you can have a set of abs and sell an ab. Like honestly, you could turn Mike Boyle, who I love, who I think in my eyes is one of the most brilliant strength coaches.
Right.
In my generation, his
Innovative,
generation.
yeah.
He's 56 years old, but he's also. He's realistic, and he talks about technique and how sometimes form isn't always perfect, and everything he talks about training kids, and he was talking about the other day looking the part, which I was laughing about, because he even said, he goes, listen, if you were to come up to me in a gym right now, you didn't know who I was, you wouldn't hire me as a coach.
Yeah, he's not in
he's not
shape.
He's not in top shape. He doesn't look like Callum Von Moger or Steve Cook or one of these guys.
Or Don Saladino.
Well,
Or Brittany Dawn.
Brittany Dawn. But no, I don't even want to put myself in that category.
I'm kidding.
But and I commented to Boyle, and I said, Mike, if I was in a gym, you'd be the first coach that I'd come up to. And as much as it sounded like a kiss-ass statement, it's the truth.
Right.
There's a guy I want to sit and I want to talk to. Unfortunately, Mike and I are friends, and we've had beers together, and we've had breakfast together, and we talk. I invited him on my podcast. He'll be on my podcast this week or next week, and I can't wait because I always learn something from Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But think about that. Like, you show Mike his Instagram page. You show the world his Instagram page, and you show Brittany so-and-so, whatever the hell her name is,
Something.
her
Brittany
Instagram
something.
page, the fact that there's 500,000 people, that's probably 440,000 more than following Mike Boyle.
Yeah.
To me, it's so insulting.
It is.
That I almost find it. I find it amusing because people are going to her for advice, and I'm like,
See, is it
"Holy
amusing
Christ."
though?
No, but it is because I can't get upset about it
Yeah.
anymore. Like, because you can tell I get a little emotional at times, and then the mature side of me just has to be like, laugh it off, man. You can't even.
See, I
worry
like
about
when the other side, other than that
it. I know
childish
you
side
do. You
comes
try
out.
to
It's
bring
much
that
better.
out.
I do.
But
I
like,
try
look
to
at
poke you.
like you guys know Dan John.
Yeah.
You guys heard of Dan John?
I don't know Dan John.
Okay, so Dan John's another guy, and he's not.
Pat Davidson is, you know,
Pat Davidson's an incredibly smart
Dr.
guy.
Pat Davidson is, he was a professor where I went to school. Go ahead.
Pat was just on my podcast.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and Pat's a brilliant human being. I just had Charlie Weingroff on my podcast, another guy. Pat and Charlie, you can't put them on the cover of bodybuilding magazines. But
No.
What's the name of your podcast?
D&D Fitness Radio.
Might as well plug it. You keep mentioning it. I mean, you might as well say the name of it so people don't just.
D&D Fitness
Yeah,
Radio.
okay, there you go.
But
Yeah.
these are guys that.
And Pat has probably 2,200 followers, if
maybe
that.
I think more probably. But Pat's incredibly intelligent. Charlie is incredibly intelligent. I mean, those three guys right there that we just named before, Dan John, even though Dan's not, I don't think a master with anatomy and kinesiology, but he understands coaching, he understands training, he's trained Olympic athletes. You get these guys into a room together, they're going to great cook.
Yeah.
You know, like
They're
these
gonna-
guys
they're
are
gonna work out. They're gonna do
Dr.
push-ups
Greg
and stuff,
Rose.
you know?
These guys are going to create magic.
They're gonna sweat.
But why aren't they more popular? Is it because they don't look
Because
at, or is it because
yes,
people can't
one, they
relate
don't
to
look-
them?
One, they don't look at, and two, people just don't know. Because if we went out right now, put it this way: if we went, how many people subscribe to the magazine? This is actually a good point. Are you allowed to discuss that? How many people?
No.
You can't talk about subscribers. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say he just totally done. Sorry, I didn't mean to ask that question. Let's say this. Let's say that there's 40 million fitness enthusiasts out there. And I went to the 40 million fitness enthusiasts and I showed them that here are the most sexy, attractive people on Instagram. And here are the smartest 4 or 5 guys on out there in the fitness world. Out of those 40 million people, I can assure you that 10, 20 million of them are going to move over here.
Yeah.
Because they had no idea who these guys were.
Yeah.
Yet all 40 of them knew who this was. So part of the problem is that the general pop out there is just not exposed to these names.
True, but it goes back to something I said before Andrew came in here. It's a lot of it's about presentation, and a lot of it's about, I think that's it right there. It's how you present what it is you're trying to sell or get across. And if you have somebody who's humble and nice, that's not going to cut it, because they're not going to get the recognition that's going to be needed to be.
But I feel like you can still be humble and nice and get your point across.
I agree, but you also have to have something in you that says, how can I market myself? Or some sort of like self-promotion has to be. And I'm terrible at this, by the way. I'm trying to get better at it. But yeah, I mean, it's taken. I've asked you for help. I've asked people that you are involved with for help. I've asked many other people for help. So I'm in that. I don't know it as well either, but I do know that you could take those people who are the smartest people in the room, and then you can take somebody who's got a look, flashy, has technology and a team on her side or his side to make themselves look a specific way to a specific audience, and knows analytics and knows who they're trying to reach, and they will win out every time.
I think something needs to be stolen from each party.
Yeah.
But people want to follow I called Larry Wheels. We just did a story on Larry Wheels.
Oh,
You know him?
yeah.
He is the equivalent of a digital sideshow, circus sideshow.
Yeah.
People follow him because they
Millions
want
of followers, right?
probably close to 1 million.
Okay.
But regardless,
He's yoked, right?
he's yoked.
Yeah.
He lifts massive weight. Everything he touches is just huge. Like, I think he pressed a log for the first time ever, and it was like 360 pounds
With one hand.
Well, yeah, like with
With his penis.
yeah, with his dick. Yeah, but
Very
Pressed
talented.
380 pounds with his penis.
Yeah. Very
but
talented.
so he's just this jack guy, and he has, let's say, 800,000 followers. How many of those followers, though, like if you were to compare the 6,000 that Dr. Pat Davidson has, those 6,000 followers are probably.
I can tell you right now, the 6,000 following Pat are on
Informed,
are on another level
They're
of emotional
informed,
intelligence.
they
If you're watching
matter.
a Pat, your thought it's like turning around and asking this question. It's like, oh, I'm going to go get a certification that's a national certification, or I'm going to go take these courses because they're going to make me a better coach. I mean, following someone like Pat Pat is for the coaches.
It's a sign that
he's a coach's coach.
And that's it. And those type of guys don't get the recognition they deserve.
I agree.
And
100%.
But also, it's like Pat Davidson. I mean, yeah, he's not a ripped guy, but he's built like a gorilla. He squats like 500 pounds for reps.
He squats more than that
for reps.
And he can get on a true form treadmill and sprint like a running back. I mean, the guy's a specimen. He's a freak.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know where that middle is.
How many people out there would want to learn from someone like that if they knew about it? They don't know about it because he doesn't have. Yes, he doesn't have that social media. Or he's starting. Honestly, I think it's a timing thing. Because if Pat got into social media and was doing 9 years ago what he's doing now in social media, which some people would say is great or it's not great, it doesn't matter. If he was doing it 9 years ago, he'd probably have 2 million followers.
Okay, what about this then? So instead of us, sitting here why don't we put these into play, right? So we can name people that we think people should be following that you're not. I think that's a terrific story.
Right.
It's also, you already have a relationship with them, as do many, so do you. Why don't we
come up with a list?
Yeah, and we can do a story and cover this.
Calling them the coaches, like type of thing.
No,
like,
it's X people you should be paying attention to that you're not.
Yeah. Right.
It's very.
You
and
I, you know what? I will draw up a list. I think you guys come up with your own lists, and I don't care who is more or less, but let's sit down, let's combine them, and we can sit there and literally talk about each person. I mean, there's certain like there's coaches like mobility coaches. I mean, he wouldn't consider like Dr. Andrew Ospina, functional range conditioning.
I interviewed him last year. He's brilliant.
He's brilliant, and I've taken FRC 5 times.
Yeah.
I've taken Kin Stretch once.
JL Holdsworth,
I know the name, but I've never talked.
PRP.
Yeah.
RPR?
RPI.
Oh, no, RPI. PRI is
PRI.
That's the Davidson camp. That's PRI, and then.
Now the thing with PRI is, I've never. Do I know what PRI is? Yes. Do I do a lot of diaphragm? I do diaphragmatic breathing every single day. Now some people will argue and say, well, they're trying to package something that, other people. I'm fine with it. Like,
everybody's trying.
Everyone's trying to. I just haven't taken official PRI courses, but I've studied under guys who are PRI trained, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you can dive down a pretty deep rabbit hole with all that stuff.
But
there's so many different areas.
I do, but I also think you can get more granular with this. So you can, as you just said, it doesn't have to be some big long list of just this big blob of a list. We can do things like, as you said, breathing, training.
We could take different topics. Physical therapy.
Yeah, I think it's
bodybuilding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's better to do it that way because it's more digestible. And as Andrew knows, it's very important for me to. I think people have very short attention spans, so it's very good to try to give them something that they can digest very quickly.
Yeah, no, I would almost categorize each area. And listen, there's probably some guys that we've left out, but you know what? I'm also curious. I don't know. I know a lot of people. I don't know everyone. I'm sure there's some hidden.
Everyone.
Gems. There's some hidden gems out there that people don't know about. And I got a friend of mine in
Brittany Dawn.
Exactly. Let's work on that.
I do have another. I want to go back to something too. So the thing about technique, right? So there's principles, but isn't technique going to change on how your body is composed and the injuries you sustained? So it's and I'm just trying to go back to previous conversation, something you just said about seeing somebody in the gym and they saw me doing technique or something like that. But yeah, I think it's we try to give step by step how to do stuff, and at the same time, it's also tough because there's so many buts in there we could put, but we have X amount of room, and there's also, we can't just keep going forever. But the truth is, if your body can't really get there, you got to start somewhere, and you also may have to alter things.
Right. I like to refer to it as the golf swing. So you can go on the PGA Tour, and you can look at 125 of the top money makers who qualify for the playoffs. So the top 125 goes into the playoffs, and you look at those 125, and I would have a contest, and every single one of them looks different with their swings. Mm-hmm. Right, their kinematic sequencing might be almost exactly the same, which is it's the order that their pelvis, their torso, their arms, and the club head all fire at a specific point that's very similar. They may all have a range of hip internal rotation. They may all have a range of thoracic turn, external rotation in the shoulder. There's specific points that are very similar, but they all look differently. Now the other day, someone looks at me doing a squat, and they say, "Well, why are you? Do you always squat sumo?" And I'm like thinking to myself, I could have responded, "Well, what's a sumo squat? I've never heard it. Like I know sumo deadlifts, and I know what they were saying, but
wide stance.
You know what I just said? I said, yes, I always squat at this width, because it wasn't a situation where I can get into the conversation of saying, I squat with my feet at that width because it's what my hips allow me to squat at, and it's what allows me to be as successful as possible. And if I narrow up, could I do it with a load on my back? Sure, but is that necessarily a good decision to make? The answer is no. Right. I'm a believer that if you can't do it unloaded, you shouldn't be doing it loaded.
Well, yeah, so would it increase risk of injury and also discomfort?
Yes.
So then, exactly.
Hands down, but immediately the public is saying, well, wait a second. You're not going ass to the grass. I'm breaking parallel. I will show you my squat right now. I am breaking parallel on my squat. I am not going ass to grass because my body does not allow me to go ass to grass.
But even if you weren't breaking parallel, I mean, you're squatting to the depth that your body allows you to squat.
I'm showing you this right now. Look at that. That's a pretty clean squat.
Great. So that's
and I'm going to show this.
It's good that we see it. There's nobody there.
I'm showing right here.
That is a wide squat.
I'm taking a somewhat wide stance on my squat. Yeah. My form looks great.
But I wouldn't initially say like, wow, your feet are super wide.
No, but it's not. That's where my hips allow me to be. Yeah. And guess what? My toes are pointed out a little bit because that's what my ankles allow me to be. So let's squat in a 6, and that's safe.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I've done when I was younger. I tried to, just following like bodybuilding programs with like, okay, feet 6 inches and then feet wide. It's like, guess what? I did that and my knees were immediately like,
it's crazy,
throbbing. What am I doing?
That's where I roll my eyes to, and that's the purpose. That's why assessments were created. And that's why when you look at something as simple as the functional movement screen, the FMS, which Greg Cook and I think Lee Burton, another brilliant human being, created. They created this to give coaches a tool to be able to go in and be able to determine within 7 simple steps that require nothing but this kit what decisions you can make from a training standpoint.
How can this person move? And
how can this person move? And you know what? Oh my God, we overhead deep squatted him or her, and the dowel completely threw forward, or the knee went valgus, or there was pain in the hip. And you know what? Guess what? Bad decision for them. Let's train the crap out of them in a different capacity. Maybe it's holding a kettlebell in here. Maybe it's squatting to a box to start learning that hinge. And let's exhaust that area, which will maybe in time develop mobility if there are no real red flags, and then get you to the back squat. You know what I'm saying?
So going off that, I want to ask, is there somebody, like any celebrity you've trained that came in and was just an absolute mess in terms of like the way that their body mechanics allowed them to move, that you really had to start from the ground up? You don't have to name names.
No, I wouldn't name names.
Can we guess?
No. I mean, I wouldn't even name names, and you wouldn't even know. I've had celebrities of mine. I mean, they all move pretty decent, but I've had a lot of them come in with injuries.
Okay.
So because of shooting on a movie set, they were thrown out of a car window, or they were doing their own stunts and they broke their neck or whatever.
Sebastian Stan was beating up like people from another planet, so it's like I saw him in this last movie he was in.
Actually, Seb I could talk to. So Seb I could talk about because he's actually very proud of this. So when Seb came,
I think you told me about this once.
Yeah, Seb, and I'm really proud of him about this. But when Seb came in, and I met Seb 8 or 9 years ago, when I saw him back squat, his hinge was off, his depth was off.
Was he like coming forward?
Yeah, it was coming forward a little bit. There were things that just weren't right, but he was so open.
Did he know it?
He knew something felt wrong. Yeah. But I saw him squat the other day, and it was like, and I looked at him. I remember looking at him and just being like, "Damn! Like, do you remember what this looked like 8 years ago?"
There was a tear.
Well, more importantly, how did it feel for him?
It felt great. He felt comfortable. He felt successful. But how do we do that? We had to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. Mm-hmm. So what did we do? We started working on hip mobility. We started working on a lot of prying. We started getting him goblet squatting with a lightweight just to start instilling that hinge pattern. We started working on core strength.
Was that just for Winter Soldier? Or like was it just for the Marvel films that you started to work with?
No. I the first thing I worked with was the first thing I worked with him on was a Broadway play he was doing where he had
cool.
to be shirtless.
Love plays.
Yeah, no, he
Lot of
had to
fun.
be shirtless.
Was he like an in shape guy before
time.
that, or?
He was in good shape, but he learned so much about nutrition and he learned so much about training.
Did you
Now-
go see the play?
I went and saw the play. And I gotta be honest, for
You
2
hated
hours
it?
he was up there. He nailed it. He was up there for 2 hours with shirtless.
Don
I
hated it.
forgot the name of. No, he's fantastic. Really, no, he's fantastic. He's a tremendous actor.
All right,
He's a
let's look.
great
Okay,
person.
what movie did you of somebody you've trained did you see that you didn't like? Come on, let's play. Don't play.
Actually, I gotta be honest. I don't watch a lot of their movies.
Okay, can you answer this then?
Yeah, no. I just
No,
want
no,
to
not
time to
me.
watch a lot of movies, but too, I'm connected with you. Said I'll watch their movies, but there's
So not naming names. Who's a guy who on camera or like have
Who's
you
a
ever?
guy?
Well, yeah.
No,
Not
no,
naming
yeah.
names. Who's a guy? No. Have you ever seen? Maybe it's not somebody you train. Maybe it is. But somebody who on camera, people are like, "Holy shit, that guy is ripped." But then in person, it's like if we were to see him in person,
certain
it'd be
people
like
on camera. I can say this: on camera, you appear a lot bigger than you do
Yeah.
in person. So like if you see Hugh Jackman on camera, he
like in Wolverine. Do you remember
he
that?
would look
scene?
like he was big, he was strong. Hugh Jackman would look like he's 30 pounds heavier than me. In person, he looks smaller than I do. It's part of it. Is he in tremendous shape? Absolutely.
Okay.
Takes his shirt off. Is he ripped? Great. Is he a master of his craft? Absolutely. Can the guy move? He's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? I can't say a better thing about him. But the camera blows you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
does.
And the lighting, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when David Harbour comes to you.
Yeah, well, that was
and-
fun. That was a different project, by the way.
So does he come from Stranger Things and he's like a little on the heavier side because of that role, and then he says,
Yeah.
"Hey Don, like I'm gonna go play
He's like a
Hellboy."
schlubby cop,
Well, it
right?
was
Yeah.
It was funny because I remember him sitting down with me in my office, and he said I got to train for Hellboy, and I couldn't, like, Hellboy wasn't a comic that I grew up really obsessing over or watching.
What did you like, Mighty Mouse? No, or something like
the
that.
Chipmunks.
Yeah.
I love the Chipmunks. But I remember him sitting down with me, and he pulled up a picture of a shot putter, an Olympic shot putter, and what the shot putter looked like, and I was like, wow, vicious.
Yeah.
That's
Like, yes.
cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
he was
is. That is.
And we
It's
sat
interesting.
down. We sat down in my office for like 5-10 minutes, and we just stared at these pictures of these shot putters, and we just both had to digest what he needed to look like. And listen, did they put prosthetics on him?
Yeah.
Yes. But going into that role, what I was proud of him on, and I'm going to launch the Hellboy program when Hellboy comes out. I filmed him for 9 weeks. He allowed me to, and Hellboy allowed me to. They allowed me to use the name of the movie.
Oh, that's
in the
awesome.
sale. So I'm actually going to sell a Hellboy program.
Oh,
But I
that's
have
cool because
9
I thought you said you were gonna toss like a handful of those weeks over our way, and we
We
were gonna
are.
send the rest to you.
What am I getting?
Big wet liquor kiss.
I give you guys the offer. It's up to you. But no, so 9 weeks of footage. We filmed every exercise that he did for 9 weeks. And the biggest concern with him was that he felt, and he says it in the interview, that he had to go put this suit on and feel like I could fucking kill anyone. It was the words that he used it. And I remember when we brought him in, his back was a little compromised. I had him looked at by the PT, and we're like, it's safe, it's a fitness thing, let's just get him really, really strong. And in 9 weeks, I remember day one, we had him deadlifting like, I think, double 24s on the kettlebells, or like double 20s, which is like, what is that? It's not even 100 pounds, right?
Yeah.
His last day, it wasn't a max effort pull, but I had him pull close to 400 pounds.
On the
off
trap
the
bar?
floor. No, on a conventional deadlift. I didn't even have a trap bar. I had him do a convention. It was a conventional deadlift because he's got the thing about Dave is he's huge. Dave is like 6'3", 6'4".
I've
He's
seen him in
like
your
much
gym.
was he
Yeah,
weighing?
I've seen him in your gym before.
So
He's
he was
tall.
250 when he came off of Stranger Things, and when we went to Hellboy, he was 249.
No kidding.
We lost a pound,
But
and
his body comp. was
his body comp changed
Way
to the point where I got a call from the production company. They're like, we're going to kill training. And I'm like, why? They're like, because he's not fitting in a suit. I'm like, guys, he weighed in this morning at 249. He was 250. And they're like, he's not fitting in a suit. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then I saw him. He's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, have some ice cream tonight. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, go on, have some ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it. And we started, but the thing with him was my whole goal, because he wasn't to look like an Abercrombie model, was resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
For him to go put that suit on, he had to have this feeling of, I could pull a house off the floor and I'm not going to get hurt when doing my own stunts. And he went off on the roll, and honestly, it was more than I could have ever imagined. I mean,
Did you ever go on set?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on a few sets.
What anyone that was particularly cool, or is it just like a long day that you don't really like to go to?
No, it's just, it's always fun. I mean, I've hopped on a bunch of sets. I mean, I couldn't even off the top of my head. The last set I was on Blake Lively's set recently. She was in Toronto. I met her on set one day. I mean, yeah, I'll pop on people's sets here and there, but it's not.
It's probably pretty hectic.
Yeah, you know, I don't like doing it because they're.
It's like a kid going to their parents' work. It's like you're out of the way, kind of.
I want to. Yeah. It's their work, and they don't need to worry about me. And you know, I'm there if you need anything. But you know, whatever.
I could see you just like during a take, like, all right, stop. Okay, Blake, didn't really love the way your body was aligned there. Do it again.
Listen, at the end of the day, they're the ones doing all the work. I'm just trying to give them the best decisions, and I'm trying to minimize the level of stress. I want them, no matter what, coming into every session feeling successful. Sometimes linear periodization could be the worst decision for someone like that, because if they're shooting a film and they have to out of nowhere Ryan's got to get on a plane and fly to Singapore to do press. I'm making this up, by the way. He's got to fly to China to do press, and he spends 2 or 3 days over there, and then he flies back, and he's hardly slept, and he's done 18 hours of press a day, and I'm like, all right, Ryan, we have to do our threes on 5-3-1, and we have to hit 92% of your max, and the next thing you know, he's getting absolutely buried under it. Probably a bad decision for me to have him do.
You just gave us all Ryan's next travel, so everybody knows where he's going to be.
Just an example that there's different tools for different people.
Right. And I think that that's part of the issue is that, we get into this industry is a lot of hard-headed people who their way is the best way and the only way, which is horseshit because
anytime someone says that, that's the number one tool, that's the number one ingredient, I would say steer clear of that person.
But I was just gonna say, if you don't mind, I was just gonna say, and I'm sure like Don, you can relate, where it's the smartest people I talk to, like the Pat Davidsons and those type of guys, they're the ones who will normally give you kind of, they'll answer you with the either
maybe.
I don't know,
I don't know, maybe.
Or it depends on you,
the best,
or what's your goal,
yeah,
that kind of stuff. It may not be the answer that people want to hear, which is probably why those guys aren't as popular, because they're not giving you an answer, but it's the smartest thing they can say.
It's the toughest thing on social when someone asks a question. Most of the time, I'm saying, well, it depends.
Yeah.
But you may want to look into this or that. But I don't know, or especially when someone, I mean, the one question that I get all the time, and I answer it the same exact way, is when someone's like, I'm feeling pain. I'm like, I'm feeling pain or I'm hurt. Can you give me a program? I'm like, no.
No.
I can't give you a program. Yeah. Let me recommend for you to go see a physical therapist or an orthopedist.
Right.
And you need to see if you're able to do any exercise and take my advice on something. Don't listen to anyone on social media on what you should be doing right now.
I think it comes down to like those people, again, who really do take that hard line. That's what they know. So that's what they stick with, because venturing outside of that comfort zone may make them look or feel inferior. Right. So it's real easy just to hang on and just keep pounding away and hope that you come to their side rather than them have to actually, adapt and learn something.
Love it.
Yeah, we featured somebody in the magazine whose weekly deadlift workout was like 10 warm-up sets, and then they worked up to the heaviest set of 3 they could every single time. That was their deadlift workout every single time.
How'd they deadlift?
They deadlift over 930 pounds. Okay. So I brought that up to Davidson, and I was like, how does that work? How does that work? And he just looks at me and goes, I don't know, but clearly it fucking works.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. He goes, I don't know, but,
you know what?
I wouldn't be giving that guy advice.
That's
like,
the freakiest thing about it, is we try and read all the science and research, and sometimes I don't know how your body's gonna recover. Like, and if something like if we have a formula and we're doing, I can look at your positioning and say, wow, that looks pretty good, and you're getting stronger every week. It ain't broke, man.
Well, the thing is, I said this to Andrew once a long time ago too. Somewhere along the line, I don't know, became like the wrong thing to say. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody knows everything. So if you don't know something, like he may not know
in any capacity.
Yeah, you don't. Look, how does it work for this guy? I don't know, but it's working. Clearly, like it's definitely working. So it's I would think, as you said, the people that are confident enough and have the just the know-how, I don't know, like those are the people that it's like I don't know. I just end up just flocking to them and trusting them more because they don't have to come off like they know it all.
No, and the smartest people in fitness also know that for, there are kind of two camps where you have like the super scientific camp
Right.
where they want to back everything up with research, and then you have the camp who's like super anecdotal. And fitness is like right in the middle of that.
No,
where-
that's the smartest thing that's been said all day because that's one thing that drives me nuts about a lot of these brainiacs is that they're reading someone else's research.
yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, on
And
the
they're
other hand,
interpreting it, but they're not doing it.
right? Like let's use a perfect example, like Michael Hearn, okay, who's a friend, who's I think he's just an absolute. I mean, the guy's a physical specimen,
Savage, yeah.
savage. I mean, people are like
Say
natural, he's not
more
natural.
nice things about him. Talk about how handsome
Savage, but
No? Okay.
Mike,
You don't have to.
he's a stud.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. That's all.
Yeah.
I just want
Great
one.
hair.
Yeah.
Great hair, and they're expecting him
Thank
as
you.
him and his girlfriend. Yeah, you. Mike is someone that for decades has been getting under an incredible amount of weight.
Yep.
He's been doing it in fashions where like you'll see him leg press sometimes with his foot turned in. Like he's a believer that he's like, yeah, I try and load my body in different positions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have anyone do that. I wouldn't bring someone in and have them turn their foot. But Mike has developed a resiliency. He has developed a way to adapt to different foot positions, do things that are just completely non-traditional. And if a fitness scientist or whatever the hell they want to call themselves now wants to sit and break it down, they
Scientist?
exactly, something like that. But it wouldn't make sense. But Mike claims he's never gets hurt. Knock on wood. Mike claims that he's setting PRs at 50. And I've seen him, and he's doing it. Like,
Did you see that product he pushed that one time? Was it like the leapfrog or whatever it's
The
called?
frog? Have you seen the frog?
No, was it? Oh,
Have you seen the frog?
No, I've used it.
Get out of here.
I was at the NSCA in Las Vegas, and the guy literally, this thing's like the size of a car. And he he's like, get on it. And I got on it. The thing is so much fun. I like could have. I wanted to have a frog race
Can I
down
leave?
Broadway. No, I wanted to have a frog race
Oh
down
my
Broadway and
God.
the training on Broadway. We should cover that. But I looked at the guys. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
What
They wanted me to buy it. I'm like, what do you mean buy it?
For
I'm
like, how much does it retail?
I don't
For like
even know.
$2,500?
I was like, I'm in New York City. They're like, well, so what? You can put it. I'm like, guys, this is New York City.
No more cabs. Yeah, just-
I just wanted to have one so I could do a race down Broadway.
Yeah.
Training on Broadway.
Yeah, so like, but oh my God, it drives me nuts because this is like Michael Hearn, who's like power bodybuilding,
Yeah.
get under heavy weight, but also buy the frog.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it did
I
seem
don't
a
know what
little
his deal
weird.
is. I don't know what his deal is.
I'd love to ask him. I don't. look,
yeah.
I don't know what his deal is.
Because I do have a lot of respect for him.
I
mean,
don't know if he's still endorsing. I know he's a really nice guy, and I know that he's done a phenomenal job with his own training. And the guy's one of the strongest human beings I met. And bash him all you want, say he's on shit. I don't know what. I don't care. But
Even if he was,
he's
he's
50. The guy's 50 years old. And
I
it's
don't care.
He's
I don't-
35
yeah.
years old, and he's setting PR. So
Yeah, I mean, and I know that a lot of people dig in because of, like the whole, well, if he is, then he should admit it, but how could anybody look like that? It's like, I don't really care. I don't care.
he always says this. I love it.
I just don't care.